Can everyone see my screen? You can give me a thumbs up or unmute yourself, whatever you'd like.
Yeah, I
I
can
can see
see.
perfectly. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay. So the purpose, welcome everyone. Happy Wednesday. The purpose of today's call is just to review the grant that's available right now from Main Street. We just found out about it last week. And it is, full disclosure, it is funded by American Express among some other funders. But this is a national grant that came out, opened up last week, and as Prosper West, we are trying to help as many businesses as we can in our area apply for it, right? So there's some training that's available as far as the webinar is. Araceli has taken a part of that, but it's 2 hours long. And I was able to help my first business owner submit an actual application yesterday. So far it's been a lot of questions and answers. But since we were finally able to help someone, I wanted to kind of just share what I've learned so far, and then kind of open it up for Q&A to see if there is anything that's needed. So full disclosure, this webinar is being recorded because I'd like to send it to anyone that may have questions about it. Okay, so I am not going to go through the full presentation made by Mainstreet, which is kind of explaining what some of the things are about the organization. If you are interested in this presentation, I am more than happy to send it to you, or you can also find it on their website. We are going to scroll down. There are eligibility points, but we're going to go through these as we go. As we're going to pretend we're filling out the application, so you're going to see what it looks like to actually do that. Eligibility continued, so we're going to go through that. Eligibility grants. I'm going to move down to the key dates. So, like I said, it opened up in April 14th. The application officially closes on April 7th, but they are going to close it, at least they're going to stop reviewing after they receive the first 5,000 applications. So I would say try to get this information or try to submit as soon as possible, because it's a national organization, we don't know how fast that 5,000 is going to be filled up, right? So we're kind of day by day right now. And we don't know if the website's going to close down or not when it's full. They might keep taking applications all the way through April 7th, and then just let anybody after the 5,000 know that they didn't qualify. Okay. So they're going to be reviewing this grant in April and May. In June, anybody who won is going to be able to find out if they were able to. And then they want one of the key features they want to see in this application for grant processes is if you can finish the project by September 9th, right? So as we talk about the budgeting and what you want to spend these funds forward and what you're going to say you're spending these funds forward, just keep in mind that they're going to want to see a projected timeline by September 9th, because then they're going to ask for a report from the business owners of what was the outcome, right, and what was going in after that. Okay, so first of all, accessing the application. If you go to the main website, this is the site. This is a link that was sent out in the email that I blasted. It's through Main Street, so same thing. It gives you information on the program, on what we need for in community information. The eligibility requirements are here. How how they're going to be chosen is selected on here. And when you go down to the plot bottom, you're going to go to apply now, and it is same thing. It's going to give you information on the program, eligibility, how we're going to be chosen, program timeline. They do a really good job at making sure the information is everywhere. And if you haven't created an account yet, you're going to create an account here. Okay, so some people created an account using their emails, right? If you use your Gmail account for this, when you sign in, because a lot of people were like, I forgot what my password was. When you sign in, if you use the Gmail account, know that you can sign in with your Google down here. So this is where I'm seeing some people run into issues where they created a password, but they're like, I forgot what my password was. It's more likely because you submitted a Gmail account. So when you sign in, you're going to go in through here, right? So I'm going to go ahead and sign in so y'all know what that looks like. So you enter the main page up here, types of businesses, same thing, information, like I said, is gets repeated. And then down here at the bottom, the first phase of this is going through the eligibility process, right? Of what you are, whether you're going to qualify for or not. So you do have to be the owner of your business, not the physical location, but your actual business. If you're 18 years or older, And you do have to operate out of a physical location. There's been some questions about whether you have to own the location that you're in. Nothing in writing says you have to be the owner of your building, but it does say you have to have a physical location. So, as it says, home based and online businesses are not eligible. So, make sure you answer that if it's going to be yes. Um, you have to have been in this location before the beginning of this year, right? So, before January 1st of this year. And then the next one is if you're located in older or historic Main Street, downtown, a commercial district in the United States or U.S. territories. So a lot of our businesses on the west side, the ones that I have visited, are usually on a main corridor, right? That could be Fredericksburg Street, that could be Culebra, that could be Martin Street, Cesar Mora. All of those are main primary corridors. Um, so just keep that in mind as we are filling this out. Or if you're downtown or in the main historic district, know that this is going to be one of those eligibility ones. If your business is an independent business and not a franchise, so that's the majority of us. If you have fewer than 20 employees, including yourself, so that's most of the small businesses, you would put yes. If your operations has been open since, so you have to have been in business before January 1st of last year, 2023. So at least a year of being in business, right? And then your business has to be in good standing in the state, which is formed in the state in the business. So that means any licenses, like if you serve food, you have to be in good standing with your food licenses, with your occupancy. All those licenses have to be up to date because they will ask you to take a picture and submit this for the application. And then the business is awarded potential grant. You may be asked to detail business. Will you be able to provide this information? They may ask information like your taxes, profit, like I said, a profit and loss statement. So just know that you don't have to have that prepared to submit the application, but know that by the time they ask that question, you will be asked for these documents. So just make sure that you are also providing accurate information because they might compare. If your business is awarded this grant, can you have the project completed by September 9th? So the answer is going to be yes if you want to be eligible. If you're having questions about this, and that's where we can kind of help out build that timeline for you. And then if you're a recipient of the Guns in this program in 2023. So I've had some people, so this is if you've received funds from this organization in 2023. Okay. This doesn't mean like if you received a grant or if you received grants from the city, your answer would still be no here because it's only if you got funds from Main Street or if you've applied for this competition before. So for the most part, most of us should be replying no. Um, and that will move us forward. So once you get past this point, if you put next, if it stops you and tells you we're reviewing your application, tell us about it, or if it tells you you're not eligible, that's more than likely that you didn't pass one of the eligibility requirements. Okay. Um, if you are able to move past this point and it actually asks you to fill out the application, then that means that you passed the eligibility point and now you're able to actually fill out their application. So just a big heads up on that. The actual application, there are in the main website, there are two guides down here in Spanish and in English. I'm going to make a separate set webinar. If I have time after this, I'll say it in Spanish. They're both very helpful, but you do have to fill out the application in English. So that's one of those barriers that I'm trying to help out, that I'm trying to focus on with business owners that may not feel comfortable talking um, in Spanish, in English. So I will kind of do a plug-in for this tool that I use, right? A lot of people, you can use Google Translate, which to me, from my experience, has been a little iffy, but you can also use ChatGPT, right? So ChatGPT is this website. I Google it most of the time. It's spelled like that, ChatGPT. So when you click open that link, if you don't have an account, oh, mine's already logged in. If you don't have an account, it's going to tell you to log in and create a username and password, or same thing, you can use your Google account. But when you actually create an account, this is what this looks like. And how you can manage it is like, let's say you write in Spanish, right? So let's say you're going to put translate this to English to US English. And I would specify country because sometimes, like when you put Spanish, sometimes it translates it to Spain Spanish, and that can be different. So you can say, like you can write whatever you want your story in Spanish, blah, 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 put it in parentheses. And then when you click this go, it's going to give you the translation in English. Okay. So personally, from my experience, ChatGPT tends to be more accurate and more towards what we're actually wanting to say, right? You could always have this review, but this is a really cool tool that's used, that can be used for business owners, whether you're translating things to Spanish. It's all, I use it to translate stuff into Spanish fast, or to be able to translate to English. It's a very helpful tool. Okay, so back to the main website. So you can open it in Spanish or you can open up the application guide in English. So we're going to open up the English one right now. This guide is very helpful to have alongside while you're filling out the application. Okay. So it has the same information down here at the bottom. We're going to go through, this is the eligibility form. These are the questions that we answered yes or no to. So we're going to keep going. And then these are the questions you're going to get asked from your business. Okay, so we're going to go through some of these, but I say keep open this guide because this guide will give you pointers on what you should be like, what you should kind of take into mind, right? So you have your name, addresses, phone number is the primary contact of this. So if you're going to be the person, primary contact of this application, put yes. Um, do you have more than one owner? So if you are co-owner or there's other people involved, please put these list them here as well. Give me a second. It froze a little bit. Oh, there, I skipped over. And then you're going to have the business information. So what is your business structure? This is how you registered it with the city if you have, or if not, how you do your taxes, right? So if you're, let's say, a sole proprietor, this does say that you have to put the information that you use on your tax returns. Okay, so just make sure that you're using like your name as you're listed in tax reports, because if it says if you don't, you may have issues receiving the payment if you are if you are eligible, right? You can use your own social security if you use this for your tax forms. But if for your tax forms you don't use your social security, let's say you use your ITN number, right? Some organizations have ITINs. Make sure you use that number. So it's whatever number you use for your taxes. When you file your business taxes report, ask you what you are going to be using. Now, keep in mind you don't have to have your taxes filed in order to complete this application, but you will. They may require that once if you get further along in the process. So just know what you would if it's the first time you file taxes. If not, then use whatever you used before. Most sole proprietors, of course, use Schedule C. So just keep that in mind. See, this is where it's the legal entity, legal corporations. If you have a DBA, right, registered with the county under a different name, make sure that you put that in there. If you don't have one, then this would be no. So make sure you put your address information on here. And then this asks us if you're in a low income census tract. So it gives you the instructions of what to follow. I helped a person without this yesterday. I was actually surprised to see which areas are considered in the low income area. But if you go to this map, and let's say that you enter your address. So I'm going to put our offices. Um, I think this is our addresses. I may be getting this confused. Hi, Ernest. Welcome. We are just doing the things, but it is a recorded Zoom, so I'm going to be posting this up somewhere to be able to view later. Right now, we're in the middle of going through what the one of the requirements of the application is asking us if whether we're in low income or not. And then once I finish this, I'm going to do a little Q&A to see what questions y'all have. So when you come on here, all you have to do is click on this one, and it's going to give us a purple code. So it basically says if your business is located anywhere in the purple code, then it's considered in a low income area. So we would be answering yes to this question. Okay. So going back to this area. So that gives you the link on there to use. That's why I say it's really helpful to fill out this application while having this guideline um, on the side. So if you have a business website, you would put it on there. If you have social accounts, put it on there. Put all the information. I had a business owner yesterday that said like she hadn't updated her for Facebook in like over a year. And she's like, I shouldn't even put that. I'm like, put it on there. Like it's part of your story. It's part of where you're at right now. Um, they're not looking to see if whether you're active on that or not, or how good you are on social media, right? We're going to go over the criteria that they're looking, but that's all like transparency and kind of telling the story of where you are with your business right now. This one is a section of 3 to 5. We had a little fun with this yesterday. So it actually lets you upload 6 pictures, and it gives you specifics of what the kind of things they want to see. I like this phrasing of help us see what it feels like to walk into your business. So we did one of the outside, what it looked like with the from the street side, right? Some of the inside, some of the main areas that include like the kitchen. This was a restaurant, and then I did ask the owner to stand behind the counter and took a picture of her in her business right up at the front. So make it personable if you can, right? So, and it does say have good qualities of your pictures. If your phone takes good quality, you feel confident about your skills, take them. If you don't, ask someone who can help you. We want to make sure that the quality that your business gets the representation through those pictures, right? So if you need any help with that, then please let us know. So tell us a bit about your business. So this is like what I call like the story part of your application. From what I experienced yesterday with helping a business owner fill this out, this like put some thought into this. And if you're not the best storyteller in writing, get with someone who is, right? So in this situation, I was helping this business owner because she can't translate to English and she has to fill out this application, right? So what we did is that I asked her those questions, and then she spoke to me in Spanish, and because I'm a writer, I put a tidbit in, like I was listening to what she was saying and wrote the story out in English, and then I would read back to her what my answer, like what my paragraph was, right? So I was making a story with the answers she was giving me. This was really helpful for her because she was able to just freely speak. And then when she read my response, she's like, "Oh, you managed to put that together in a storytelling. So if you have this skill and you're able to do that, perfect. Use it, go all out." There is a limitation as to how long it could be, but you'll see when you fill out the application. If you're not, possibly get with someone who might be able to help you with this. I'm of course available to help if I may be limited, right? So I don't want to delay anyone, but ask the people around you, asking your family, and someone might be able to help you fill this out. If not, know that if you speak in Spanish really well and you just don't know how to write it in English, remember you can use the Chat GPT option. Just write it in Spanish and ask them to translate it for you in English. So tell us a little bit about yourself. What made you start your business owner? Sometimes asking yourself this question of like, why did I do this? Why did I start this? Um, what did it mean for me at that time? Be open with your story, right? Even if there's a struggle or something you're not willing, you understand how much you're willing to share, but just make sure that you're able to paint that picture of what it was like for you to start up at that story on that business. When did you formally start your business? You do have to put, like, it's a little calendar thing. You do have to put the date in here, so make sure you format that in a date. And then what products and services you offered. So this case, let's say it was a restaurant, right? We explained the dishes, the Mexican cuisine, dishes, side plates and plate, and often we also explained that she does in person and also curbside pickup, and how she had to close down the delivery service, because of struggles and issues from the past few years. And then in that we included, these are my customers. Like I see a big professional setting in my community, but the majority of my clients tend to be older people, right? And a lot of those people are returning customers that have been coming to me since I first started my business. So I've been able to grow. Some of these customers are family and stuff like that. So we put all of that into the story because she's explaining who are the people that come and see her, right? Um, so the next part is the business offerings. This one's pretty straight to the point. You only get to choose one. No, I think you get to do as many as you can. Yeah, that one's as many as you can. And then this one's the net sales in 2023. So again, you don't have to have your taxes completed, but just know that number. You're going to need to, that's that number that you would give to your tax person is the number you're going to enter here. And it's just a number. You don't have to show proof of it right now. It's just putting in how much you made in net sales, right? Not profit, in sales, counting returns, allowances, and discounts. So just make sure you have that number. How many full-time employees do you have? Of course, that's pretty self-explanatory. How many part-time? There was a business owner that asked me if volunteers counted, because in this one it does say like either you have to pay the paid employees or seasonal employees. We didn't count volunteers, but that's just something to keep in mind in case they come back to you and ask, right? Describe the roles and businesses in your community. So this one also required a lot of thinking, like what impact have you had on your community, right? And what impact do you want to have? Maybe like there's something in your business that this is going to help you build make sure you tell part of that story too. So in this part of the restaurant, she had struggled with it a little bit. She's like, well, I don't know a big impact. But as we were talking, she's like, I feel like I make an impact with my elderly community. She's like, because that's something that she's passionate about even before she opened the restaurant. She's like, I make sure that my older community is taken care of. Like I know what's going on in their lives. Like it's not, they don't just come in for food. They come in and they tell me stories about their family. So I'm very engaged in their lives. She's like, and that to me, she's like, sometimes there's a group of them that come in and hang out here all together. So that's a contribution to your community, right? So don't be afraid to kind of dig into some of those questions of like, why am I doing this and what do I want to do when I move forward with it? If there's anything you'd like reviewers to know about your business, remember, this is like you speaking to the person that's reviewing your application. What do you want them to know? Right? So just be honest in that. How do you use a plan is selected? So this is where you kind of give a description overall of what it helps. It helped us to kind of just make notes of all the things that she could use the money for, right? When we made a big budget, it was like a $27,000 budget. And I was like, okay, now it's asking us to hone in, what do you want that 10,000 to go to, right? So we talked about priorities. What is the first thing you would need to do? And let's say that her goal is to increase revenue, right? I'm like, what would be the first priority and what would result in income for you, right? In doing that. So she struggled between equipment that she needed in the kitchen and setting up the delivery service. But when she measured out the things and talked through it, she's like, you know what? The equipment would save me enough time so that maybe someone else could help in the delivery. So it ended up working out. And this is where you're going to put a simple bullet point list of what you're going to spend that money towards, and it's going to have to be at the 10,000 mark, right? So that's how you do the budget. Selecting the category. So this part only lets you choose one. If your budget is has more than one thing, like let's say it was equipment, but she also needed um como se dice? She also needed stuff for the delivery system. I would just group it under whatever you need it most for, right? So in this case, it was the equipment that was going to cost the most. So we would put it under equipment and inventory. Do keep in mind that it has a disclosure because there is a section for utilities and I think payroll. It doesn't say it on here, but it does say it in the requirements. No more than 20% of this grant can go towards utilities or payroll. So that means no more than $2,000 can go towards those two categories. Okay, so just keep that in mind. You can build it into your plan if that's what you need, but what can you, if you're gonna do that, just know you have to cap it at 2,000, or what else could you pay off like in your budget, and maybe so that way it gives you money, frees up money in your business to be able to use towards payroll and utilities. Just know that if you are awarded these grants, you're going to have to show how you spent that money. So just be honest. And then that is the end of the application. Then you get to submit all this stuff. You do have additional questions at the bottom. I think we missed a part where it asked you for the license. What we took pictures of for that section were the food for her restaurant. It was the food and the occupancy certificate, right? Because those are like confirmations that your business is up and operating. So we took a picture of that. And then it does ask you some preliminary questions down here, like if you accept American Express, if you belong to any of these groups. This just helps them gather information, but it doesn't affect the outcome of your application. So just keep that in mind. And that is, after you do that, you submit. When you submit, I'm going to go back to my account. So this is the main account that we had, right? Up here on your phone, it looks a little bit different. On your phone, you just see this little logo. If you click on this icon and you go to my profile, you're going to get this main one. And then up at the top, you're going to have a section for submissions. When you do it on your phone, sometimes if you submit already, it'll show right underneath when you go to my profile. And here in my submissions, you'll see that it's submitted and it's going to have a little tag name that says like received, right? You may also have, if you like are working on it along the way, because keep in mind, you can save it as a draft. So if you're filling out the application, you don't have all the information, you can just put save the draft as the bottom, and then you would find that one under here. So this is kind of one that I started to just to kind of see what it would look like. Okay, but I'm not going to submit because it does ask like if you're like it don't take up someone's space, right? If you're not, it's actually legitimate because they're going to close after that 5,000, right? So I just did it to try to figure out what it looked like. But that is what I've learned so far about this. Araceli, I know it's Mr. Ernesto leave, but do you have any questions or is there anything you'd like to add? Because you've taken this training as well too, and I haven't seen the webinar you took.
No, no, I don't have any questions, and I'm sorry, I don't have anything to add right now. Um, if I can think of anything, well, maybe if somebody asks, how do I know if I'm in a commercial corridor?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, a commercial corridor, I think, is anything that has multiple business on there, as like it's open for being able to buy businesses on there, right? So just by looking around you, if you can see other businesses around there, more than likely you're on a commercial corridor. If you're in a business where it might be inside the community, that might be a little bit like you're surrounded by homes, right? That may be a little bit more, you might have to look into it. I don't know exactly how you would look that up. Let's try. I mean, I'm gonna pretend I'm looking. Let's see. I would look up commercial corridors, San Antonio, Texas. Let's see. That doesn't give us SA corridor featured land use. So this might give us some information on there. I think the biggest tell is if, like you said, if you see other businesses around there, then more than likely that is zoned for commercial use. If not, then we might have to just find a number that we can call and ask. Um,
I'm envisioning something with businesses along a strip, along a street, not like a mall or a business that has a building that has several businesses. I believe those do not qualify as a commercial corridor.
oh, I see. Like if it's a single business that's being rented to multiple
Yeah. Well, like a
businesses.
business that has multiple, or a building that has multiple businesses.
Okay. You may be right. Like if it's single by itself, it might not. It might just be that single business that's on there. But it's very likely that you are located in a historic area, right? Because there are some places in historic, and that you can find up under San Antonio historic districts. You can find that on there. But I wouldn't. I'd say if you're not sure, if you stand in a commercial thing, don't let that hold you back from applying. Let's find someone for you that could help figure that out, right? Because I would hate for you to miss out on the opportunity to submit because you don't live in a commercial thing. But at the same time, again, the application does ask that if you don't qualify for one of these things, don't take up someone else's slot, right? Because again, they're going to close after 5,000 applications get received.
For example, what about a business that's located at Market Square?
Yeah, so that's considered the market square itself is
Hmm.
considered a historic marker
Oh,
because
okay.
it's one of the I found out it's one of the first market like original market squares in the nation.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it itself the area in itself is in a historic covered place. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, good question.
Okay.
Alrighty. Well, then I will leave with that. I may record another one in Spanish just for the people that are helping out, pero si necesitan ayuda, por favor, llámenos y les ayudamos a traducir lo que necesitan porque la verdad es que queremos los más negocios que quieran aplicar que lo que puedan, ¿verdad? Sé que cierran en abril 7, el 7 de abril, pero si cierran la aplicación antes, queremos que la mayoría de negocios puedan aplicar. So don't hesitate to reach out if you need anything. I think with that, we will close it out. Everything is on the website. Like I said, the website has a great chance of having all these things on there. I just wanted to walk you through what it's looked like so far from actually applying. So good luck, suerte, que les vaya bien.
That looks good. Thank you.
Bye, Araceli. Have a good one.
Bye. You too.